Now stay tuned to the following radio broadcast.
You're listening to the Victory Station, AM 1360. We're glad you chose us. Thank you.
It's Impact with the Florida Star, the largest, oldest, and most read African-American newspaper in Northeast Florida and South Georgia. And now, here's the host, the publisher of the award-winning Florida Star, Clara McLaughlin.
This is Opio. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Impact. We got Shirley McDaniels, the mother of Vernell Bing, coming on, as well as music industry expert Paul Porter, right here on Impact. This is Opio, and I am speaking to Paul Porter, big-time guy in the entertainment industry, particularly in the music business. He has a book called Blackout, My 40 Years in the Music Business. Paul, how are you doing?
Good, man. How are you all?
I'm doing good, man. First of all, I want you to kind of impress people a little bit about some of the things that you have done in the business, in the industry.
Well, it's funny, man. This book, it starts in, around 1976. But I was lucky. I grew up in Queens, and some of my neighbor's father married Nina Simone, another guy, Bill Stady. He was one of the biggest black record execs. So I started learning the music business really early. And, it took me through college radio, and I worked in New York, D.C., BET, AOL, the top stations, some of the top stations across the country. And I've got to do a lot of things, man. I don't toot my own horn, but it's all in the book.
Now, tell me about your time at BET, particularly as a video jockey. I started subbing for Donnie Simpson on Video Soul in late 80s and all through the 90s. And that turned into, hosting different shows, Midnight Love, Video Vibrations, Video Soul. And it turned into me being program director after a while and getting to select the music and program the music in 66 million homes. So it was a good time, man. The 90s were a good time at BET. And, a lot of things have changed over the years, but I thoroughly enjoyed the BET ride. What do you think about all of these biopics that are coming out? New Edition, they got one coming out on Tupac now. They done did one almost everybody is getting one. What do you think about some of these biopics? And have you have you seen anything in them that say, hey, I was at that particular deal when that happened?
Oh, yeah. New Edition was my time. Matter of fact, Maurice Starr, who formed New Edition and, did all that music, I was the one who got him his deal at RCA from the guy I mentioned earlier, Bill Staten, who was the head man at RCA. And Maurice took that money. Maurice Starr was in my record pool. Me, Maurice, a guy named Arthur Baker that produced a lot of big soundtracks in the 80s, Beat Street. So, I think that one was well done. I'm glad that somebody's recording some music history, because that's what we've been losing over the years. And don't get me wrong, I'm not impressed by all the artists that have been coming up, but I think, doing Tupac New Edition, it's opening up some eyes to some younger fans. And, they got to know some music history, man. None of this stuff today would happen without, groups like that.
What's in this book, Blackout, My 40 Years in the Music Business, that's going to shock people, that's going to make people want to tell other people about it?
I think, there's been a lot of music books, but they're always done by lawyers and managers and, sort of rah-rah books. This book is an honest look at how the industry really works. The world of payola. Like when I got to BET, the second time that I went back to program, I talk about, I was at a hotel, and the first week I was there, I get a FedEx on a Saturday, and it's $20,000 in cash and $100 bills. Like, hey, won't come back. You know, so there's a lot of money and influence that happens in corporate America and corporate radio that, you know, shapes our culture. And that's, you know, some of the things that I expose. I talk about starting with Kathy Hughes, who's the biggest, you know, black-owned, you know, TV One and Radio One, and some of the problems that I had there, and, you know, how the structure changed. Just like at BET, I work with Bob Johnson, I work with the great Frankie Crockett, I work with some of the best people in the industry, and everybody, you know, and it's just an honest story, man. It's educational and give you some insight on, you know, the changes that have happened. You know, we would play a hot record every 4 or 5 hours in the 80s, and now you'll hear a hot record every 60 minutes. So things have changed, and a lot of it is money, and radio is money, and entertainment is money. Lost R&B for a long time. It seems like it's making a comeback, and the messages in the music. I talk about that, and, you know, sort of give you some insight from the inside out.
What do you think about what's going on with the new types of media, whether it's iTunes, whether it's the satellite radio, and the different ways that artists can get paid? Now, what do you think about all those things?
I mean, they're sucking artists dry. I mean, you know, it takes 1,500 streams on Spotify that counts as 1.99 sale. So the artists are losing, but when you look at, you know, Universal Music Group, they had a record year. They've cut deals to make them rich and the artists poor. I talked on Capitol Hill years ago trying to get royalties for songwriters, because I know some of the best musicians and artists who are struggling, and their records are played on the air every day. You know, it's funny, a good friend of mine is the guitar player from Maze, Ryan Smith, and we were on the phone today, and this, you know, he's never gotten any royalties for all the great work he's done. You know, Maze made classic records, but, you know, people get beat out of deals all the time.
This is Opio. I'm speaking to Paul Porter. He has a new book called Blackout, My 40 Years in the Music Business. Tell me, when they talk about classic hip-hop, when they talk about the best era in hip-hop, what were you doing during that time, and what do you call it? And tell me the years you believe that was.
You know, I mean, some of the stuff, hey, man, I remember playing Fatback Band and King Tim III up until some of the biggest records in the 80s, man. You know, there was nothing stronger for me than Public Enemy. But, I mean, I've picked out some good stuff in different generations. I'm not one to block it down, but the 80s were, you know, when you started hearing a lot of different voices and a lot of the stories from KRS-One and different folks, you know, content was different. But we went from lyricists to the lyrically challenged as hip-hop has grown. And, you know, I got a station in Orlando, the Wire 98.5, and I listened to everything. And, you know, mumble rap is in. You know, people love it. People love hearing Future talk about Percocet and drugs, and, you know, but I don't know if it's I'm older, but I know content isn't as strong in terms of lyrical messages.
Now, tell me, let's talk a little bit about that. We worked on a project together called Turn Off Channel Zero. We were looking at negative media images. Now, do you believe that those media images, songs on the radio, they have an impact on the mind and the things that children, particularly teenagers, do?
Oh, damn right. I mean, you can't, look, man, billions of dollars is spent on advertising that surround the music. And there's a reason why advertisers add, because they can make impact. And I know, just like when I was growing up and the first time I heard Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, and before I heard that record by James Brown, I was scared to say I was black, because being black was wasn't really cool. You know, being light skinned was cool. When I heard JB say it and I rode my bike up Linden Boulevard to St. Albans where his fence was, that was the first time I was proud to be black as a little kid. So music always impacts us, man. It always does.
Great story.
And you learn so much from music, man. And that's why I've always struggled and battled in terms of content. And the problem, we can point fingers at, you know, companies and people, and we don't have enough people of color. But, you know, every time we get into these roles at major labels and major radio stations, nobody's halting the brakes. Everybody's doing whatever to make money. And that's the shame, because it hurts us more than anybody. You know, black culture has been, you know, this stuck spinning for the last 15 years, man, and I'm tired of it.
Now, Jay-Z had or has this holding called Tidal, where they said that it was going to do everything that you need to do if you're an artist. It was going to be able to make the proper money off your own art. Have you looked at Tidal, and what you think about Tidal?
I mean, Tidal's just like everybody else. I know they claim to do things, but any artist will tell you, yeah, they pay the guys on the top, but, you know, as an independent artist, and I deal with a lot of them. I have a website, raprehab.com, and we've been rolling for about, I think it's 6 or 7 years now. And no, it's not fair. Tidal's not fair for artists either. I know it sounds nice, but, you know, it's great for, you know, the artists on top, but anybody starting up, they're not paying out money like they should.
This is Opio. I'm speaking to Paul Porter. He has a new book called Blackout, My 40 Years in the Music Business. Now, women in the industry, what have you seen? People getting taken advantage of? You're always hearing these stories about rape. I know that, what's the brother name that's just leaving? L.A. Reid. There was a thing out about him. They say, well, this guy's a sexual predator. He would make these women do favors for him and all that type of. What do you think about all of that?
You know, I think that's the American way, man, taking advantage of women. And don't get me wrong, women have had some top jobs in the music industry, but it's, you know, a lot of times based on pretty faces. And, you know, that's a damn shame, too. But, you know, and there's a very talented women leading labels over the years. Sylvia Rome made some great changes, but they're making a lot of changes in the music industry in terms of turning it younger in the executive roles. And it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next 5-10 years. But, I mean, it's the record industry in terms of businesses is half as big as it was 10 years ago, and it's going to continue to shrink with mergers over the next few years, that's for sure.
How did you lay your book out? Because and when did you write? What's your process? Talk a little bit about the writing process and getting this thing done.
Well, it's funny. I had a book deal from HarperCollins 9 years ago, and it was strictly about payola. And I wanted to put an expose out about that. You know, they signed me, they gave me the money, I worked on this great book. I turned it in, and they were scared of getting sued. So they said, keep my advance, but I couldn't do anything for 7 years. So I took some of the elements from that book and put some educational tools in it and put a little history in. You know, there's not a book out there that I've seen that tells the story of black music like this one does. And, you know, I started back when, you know, I used to go on the weekends and spend weekends at Nina Simone's house, and they didn't know who Nina Simone was in terms of being an icon when I'm 7 or 8 years old. But,
wow.
You know, there's a lot of stories in there that, you know, that I try to see, and I admit my faults too, man. I was running the streets. I was doing the parties. I snorted up back in the day. So, you know, I don't mind telling on myself because I got caught up in it. And then something, you know, woke me up when I was in New York in Hot 97 and KISS, working in New York City. It took a 12-year-old to tell me a story about a record about Raw Digger. There was a record with Raw Digger, and the chorus was, "Gotta beat that B with the bat."
Yeah.
And we were playing the record, and I kept saying, "Joe, what is going on?" We used to day part record, edit record, and the young sister came up to me at a school where I was volunteering in Queens, and she had a note in it said, "Mr. Paul, can you get that Raw Digger record off the radio?" And it was because her mother got beat up by the father. He beat her with a bat.
Oh, goodness.
And, you know, I went to management at Emmis, New York. They wound up pulling the record, but they wound up pulling me off the air, too.
This is Opio. I'm speaking to Paul Porter. He has a new book called Blackout.
So we went away from music, so that's why we got Little Yachty. You know, he has red hair and the teeth, and he gets Instagram. And it's not really about music. It's about who can entertain folks for short periods of time. You're not going to see artists, you know, have long careers anymore. The industry's not set up for that. They sign a lot of short-term deals that are, you know, single deals. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, you know, there's no more A&R artists and repertoire where they build artists. It happens every blue moon. But most of this is, you know, like a fast food business. You're in and out.
This is Opio. I'm speaking to Paul Porter. You got to get his book, Blackout. This guy, when you talk about know the industry, this is the guy. I'm more than anybody that I know. Tell us how you can get the book. Tell us what your website again.
Okay. Blackoutthebook.com. Blackoutthebook.com. Every book that's pre-ordered there, I sign. It's coming out formally on June 1st, so it'll be up everywhere. I'm going to do Joanne Reed's show. I think it's on June 3rd. She gave me a big endorsement that's on the back of the book. My man Chuck D endorsed it.
Yeah.
And, you know, everybody who's read it so far is, I just got the first one in the mail, the test book yesterday, and it looked great, so I'm pumped up about it.
Yeah, I saw it, man. I love that cover, man. All right, Paul Porter, thank you, my brother.
Hey, man, thank you all.
Do you know what media received the first Eagle Award by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for being the most factual? The Florida Star. Do you know which media solely addresses issues of concern for African Americans? The Florida Star. Do you know which media carries local, state, national, and international news regarding African Americans? The Florida Star. Do you know the only media that carries a special section for our youth at home and the schedule for 3 black television networks? Now you know the Florida Star. Northeast Florida's largest, oldest, and most read African American newspaper, serving since 1951 in more than 200 locations. The Florida Star. News you can use. News you can trust. The people's choice. Striving to make a difference. Subscribe today. Call 766-8834. That's 766-8834. Pick up the Florida Star at over 200 locations. Or to have it delivered, call 766-8834. The Florida Star. Speaking truth to power.
This is Opio. I am speaking to the mother of Vernell Bing Jr. Shirley, how are you?
Good. I'm all right. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I wanted to get you on. There's an event that's coming up on 9th and Liberty. But before that, I wanted to talk to you about everything. And it's coming up on the year anniversary, right?
Yes, it is. On May the 23rd.
That's May 23rd?
Yes, May the 23rd.
So what has gone on since that time, and now it's been a whole year? What has gone on with you, with your family, with him, with his son, with the JSO?
Well, as far as the family, everybody's, we still grieving, still waiting on answers. And the baby, for his son, his birthday is coming up next month. He'll be 1 year, so we having a party for him. And just for his JSO, no answers. We have no answers, no kind of communication, just nothing, just left out here with nothing. No answers.
So is there lawyers talking to each other? Have you heard anything from the FBI on it? Has there been any updates from organizations?
I haven't heard from anyone. Even the lawyers that's supporting the Bing family, I haven't heard from them. No communication. They supposed to communicate with me and let me know what's going on. Nobody has said anything. For its organizations, they definitely haven't put out anything. So I don't really think nobody has no answers. I wrote JSO, and I done went to certain meetings to try to get them to talk to me, and I don't get no answers, and it's just more stressful trying to get them to answer me when, they killed my son. So I just don't understand it. I guess my voice not powerful enough, and it's sad that, the community don't come together to try to get answers. I guess everybody out for themselves because I haven't heard anything.
This is Opio. I'm speaking to Shirley. She is it McDaniels, Shirley?
Yes, it is.
McDaniels. She is the mother of Vernell Bing Jr. He was killed last year by JSO officer Tyler Landreville on the east side of Jacksonville on the streets 9th and Liberty. There was a car chase from the reports. Vernell Bing was in a red sports car. He was coming down the road on 9th Street, and ultimately the JSO car hits that car. The red car hits the wall. Vernell Bing Jr. gets out of the vehicle, and it seems like the eyewitnesses are saying that he was walking or limping away. And Landreville shot a number of times at him and hit him, and he ultimately dies. There are bullets flying all through that neighborhood. As a matter of fact, as you can go there and you can see a gate that has a enter and exit bullet hole in it. So that is the case that we're talking about. And so it's been a year, and right after that, the FBI said they would be involved and look at the investigation, how that's going. But nothing, it seems like, no organizations are saying that, because I know that organizations that are asking questions, because I just talked to Wells Todd, and he said he was in a meeting, and he mentioned to Mike Williams, and I forget what he said that his response was, but no, this is what he said. He said that the changing from one prosecutor to another, Angela Corey to Nelson, has prolonged the investigation. That's what he told me.
Oh, well, that's something new to me because I never got that information. So that's something new for me, and it's just hard when you're a mother and you have to live every day, just living daily, just not knowing, and how people that's supposed to be protecting us, and for us, we can't even get no answers from them. Even if it was as simple as like they have, just move on and even come to me and spoke out and said nothing to me. Even when I tried to attend some of their meetings, I wasn't even welcome inside. So I just don't understand, and it's just so stressful just trying to get answers, period. So it just leads me into the blind because there's no guidance. As far as lawyers, the ones that's supposed to be for you is just the worst against you. I have had a lawyer for a whole year, And I have not heard one word from her, not one word. So I don't know who to trust. I don't know who is who no more.
Right.
I really don't know.
So, tell me about his son. He has a 1-year-old that was born. Was it just after? That was about a month after he was killed?
Yes, he was born on June the 6th. 2017. He was born June the 6th. He's a beautiful baby. He's born, and he looked just like my son Vernell. And I mean, I don't know as far as his mother, how she taking it, trying to raise her child without the father, So it's just hard. It's hard for everybody. It's hard. It's even hard to even talk about it. It's so hard.
Does he have, can you see your son and your grandson?
Yes. He look just like him. He reminds me so much of him. He has so many of his ways, but yes, that's the only thing that I see that reminds me of my son is his baby. His baby reminds me so much of him.
But you see how, the negativity and evil forces take your son's life, but then, God has something totally different and bring a son right after that.
Yes, that's what I say right after that. I guess he was trying to give me something to go on because I tell you, it's hard.
Right.
Hard. So hard.
And you're sitting out there at the site right now on 9th and Liberty?
Yeah, I'm at the memorial. I'd rather come here than to the grave site because I feel like this way his spirit it's just where I can come in and get a peace of mind. And every time I come, it is always on my mind. What happened to my son? I miss Red so much. I know it's nothing I can do to bring him back, but just the thought of losing him is the worst feeling in the world. It is the worst feeling.
Now, now there's an event coming up. Tell us about the event. What's going on and when, what time, where?
The event is going to be on May the 23rd, which was the day he actually was pronounced dead. So we have a candlelight memorial for him. We're going to have food and have a DJ to come out, and we want everybody to just come out and bring their candles. And we just, going to try to fellowship and just come together. I don't want his, even though his life was taken, I still want my time, to remember him because I still want answers and I'm still going to do whatever I got to do to bring that attention for it because I just don't see myself as a mother just letting this go.
Right. So, again, the event is May 23rd?
Yes. This is at 4 o'clock. We're going to do it between 4 and 9.
What day is that on?
That's on Wednesday.
That's on a Wednesday. Okay, May 23rd. That's on a Wednesday on the corner of 9th and Liberty. Bring your candles.
Yes, and they can bring flowers and teddy bears. We're going to reveal the memorial. So, we're just going to be out that day and just try to keep our memory alive of my son. And hopefully, if we keep pushing it, maybe we'll get some answers. I know they don't want me to write them no more, but I'm going to write the chef again until he gets tired of me right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And let him know that I'm still here.
All right, Shirley, thank you so much. I always think about you. I've got to know you since all of this, and I just think you're the realest and the most incredible person. And, hey, we right here for you. We're right here for you.
I thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate that. And thank you for always supporting me. I appreciate that.
Thank you. And that brings us to the end of another episode of Impact. That was Paul Porter. Make sure y'all go out and pick up that book, Blackout, Also, make sure you are supporting those events over there on 9th and Liberty. Street Stars will be out soon, so y'all make sure y'all check for it. Great documentary. All right, got to get out of here. This is Opio. We will see you next time on Impact.